Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sammy Hack here again, and today I'm finally installing those Metco Motorsport rear control arms I got. So I already obviously opened all this because I did an unboxing video, but yeah, Metco Motorsports. Look at these beefy things. So I'll show you guys what I'm replacing here. So I'll be replacing this lower control arm and this upper. These will be going right inside here, and I'll be walking you guys through that process. And if you guys look here, my All American double adjustable rear shocks are still looking pretty good back there. I did give them a little wipe down, but just so they'd be shiny with all the rest of the new shiny parts. And I was thinking about like cleaning all this up and painting it. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I'll get you guys set up on the tripod over there, and I'll start my rear control arm install. Oh, and how you like my new mic setup? Every time I put it on the shirt here, it rubs against my chin, so it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna try this out, see how that works. So I figured I'd start using this because everybody thinks I'm too quiet. All right, but anyway, let's get these guys in. And I did finally buy a little grease gun so I could grease these bushings. Oh, and I do have the Watts link here as well, but I won't be putting these in yet because of how thick they are. Because I am running tailpipes that aren't meant for this car. As you can see, I took the passenger side off because I did lose my tip on the highway. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? So I just took this out, and I'm thinking of maybe dumping it out of the side here. We'll see. Not really sure how I'm going to go about that. Because as you can see, it's got this little area for the rear tailpipe to come through, and it barely fits with the factory one, so I'm gonna have to figure something out with that. I went on and threw their stickers on real quick. I had some ADTR ones, but they were falling off, so I'm gonna put the ADTR down here. Maybe another Instagram or YouTube tag up there. So all right, shall we? All right, so when you do get these Metco Motorsports upper and lower control arm set for the rear, it does come with a very detailed instruction for the install, so it's pretty much dummy proof. And then here's those like grease fittings I was talking about, so they'll be going into these holes. Probably should do this now so I don't get any crap inside there. All right, still these grease fittings inside here. So it says 5/16, but I'm just gonna use my 8mm. Fits right over it, and these don't have to be like Superman tight, so this will work just fine. All right, one side done. Now you throw this guy on here, because what these are for is to grease these bushings. All right, easy enough. So I'm hoping this won't be too much of a pain, but since this was an Arizona car, I don't think it will. These aren't that rusty. So we're gonna start with the lower control arm first. Let's see. All right, time to do some real work. Not gonna lie, I need an impact, some good socket. I suppose I should be showing you guys this. So there's a 18mm bolt, and then it's got a 21mm nut on the other side. So once you get it loose, you'll have to hold this side with the 18 while you spin the other, or vice versa. That's kind of how you'll have to do all these, but I'm gonna be doing one at a time so it doesn't throw my rear end out of alignment. All right, and with this one, all you need is 18 because it's got a locking nut on the other side. So once you spin it, it'll just stay in there while you loosen this side. All right, got one piece of junk out. So while we got this out, I just want to show you guys the difference. So here's your factory one, and here's Metco's Motorsports. So look how thick that is. Like, this is a full billet aluminum construction. It's got to be like 3 times thicker. Then you got the poly bushings to go with it, so it's gonna stiffen up this rear end so much. Slowly but surely getting this car where I want it. And huge help from the guys over at, especially Rick over at Metco Motorsports. Sorry Rick, I know I've meant to make this video for a couple months now, but it's finally nice out. So when you install this, you want your grease fittings to be pointing down, so it'll go in just like this. But basically you just want your Metco to be facing upright. So before you throw these in there, you actually want to clean up inside there, then put a little grease on here, and I'll show you guys that. Yeah, I don't know if I said, but I had to rep the shirt while I'm putting on their parts. I did have the Old and American t-shirt on, but would it make sense to rep their brand while putting on somebody else's brand? Yeah, these things are a pretty beefy part, so I'm pretty excited. So with these rear springs here, I've actually been thinking of getting the 05 to 14 UPR adjustable perches, so you can like raise it up a little bit if you need to, or it's a good alternative for a cheap coilover. So I'll be running the Old and American up front and then the UPR Mustang out back, so it'll be a full coilover kit. This thing already handles way better than it used to, but this paired with the coilovers, rear adjustable, double adjustable shocks, then whenever I can afford it, I do have plans of getting the thicker rear sway bar and then the 1-inch thick sway bar for the front. So just changing the bushings on the sway bar changed a lot, or helped out a lot, so I'm pretty excited to get all this done. So it'll definitely be one of the better handling Panthers I've had. Oh, and then with these, the Watts link right here, I'm actually not going to put that in until I get the APR, the main bolt for the differential. I forgot what they call them, main differential stud or whatever, because I still have the factory one on there. Like I won't be driving this like super hard, so like I don't know why I would need it, but I'm just gonna do it just because upgrading everything else, so why not upgrade the stud, you know? And I'll never have to worry about it again. So yeah, just put a little grease on your finger, and you don't need a whole lot, just throw a little bit of grease on her. All right, so now you can throw this back in here. So my rear end did move just back a couple millimeters, so it was kind of hard to get that bolt in there. So just try your best to push it forward, or have somebody else push the rear end for you. I get this probably isn't the right way, but I'm basically sucking the bolt back in because it's not letting me do it otherwise. I think it's just spinning now. So here's where I'll throw this nut back on the back here, and like maybe that'll help. Yeah, it's sucking it right in. All right, so got that side in. All right, so we got that one in. I just have the bolts in there loosely, and tighten them all up once I get all of them in there. Then you don't want to torque him until you get the rear end loaded, if that makes any sense. So after I get all these on, I'm gonna go under there with a jack, push the rear end all the way up. That'll be loaded. Then you want to torque them all down, so that looks so much better in there. All right, so now we're gonna tackle this upper. I need a breaker bar or something. That does not sound healthy. Alright. This is a workout, my dudes. I feel like it shouldn't be that hard. Where's an impact when you need one? My goodness. Alright, so our next thing will be this one right here. I'll try to get you guys closer since you couldn't really see what I was doing on the other one. There we go. So this one you actually don't need to hold another wrench on here because it has a locking nut on it. So you just need to loosen this back one. Ha! Found a wrench. I mean a socket, not a wrench. Man, I'm stupid. Alright, so this bolt's being straight up poop turd. Hopefully I don't gotta take my caliper off so I can bash it out, but it's looking to be that way. Oh, I see what happened. So this bushing is so rotted in here that it's like seized onto the bolt. So what a piece of garbage. Yeah, see, look at that bushing. It locked up my bolt, or it kind of seized itself to the bolt, so I had to bash that out of there. All right. It's actually not too bad up in these crevices here, so I'm not gonna worry too much about, like, it's still pretty smooth in here. Not gonna worry about scraping it too much. So when you're installing this one, they want this grease fitting to be pointed up, and then the one away from the axle pointed down. So these letters will be upside down when you put these in, but that's all right. It is what it is. Wait, never mind. So if you get, these are side specific on the uppers. So like this one will be correct on the other side, but this one is correct on this side. So don't make that mistake. I almost did. And here I was saying it's all dummy proof. I must be a real dummy, huh? So like I was saying, you will want to put a little bit of grease in these before you put them in, and then after you get them all inside the car, then you can put a little bit more grease. So all right, so we're back on track. So got a little grease on there. I think I may have overloaded this bushing though because it came squirting out of the ends here. That's not what I wanted to do, but that's all right. All right, there we go. So just want to slide that up there and that like that. And you'll basically just want to start these alongside, just like that. Then with this side, it'll just all right, now we're on to this one. Freaking pain. All right, there we go. Ah, I love new parts. All right, so I got this passenger side in, and be time for the driver's side. Yeah, just looks so much better here. So we got the Metco Motorsports lower and upper billet aluminum control arms. Should probably do my brakes again at some point. Speaking of that, I got some goodies coming for the front. I know I have the C5 Corvette calipers and GT500 rotors up front, but I'm switching to something way better up there. So I totally don't need it for what I do with this car, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, and before I forget, I'm gonna grease these two grease fittings down here. I just want to do a side-by-side comparison again. So here's the lowers. They're all crappy and thin. The factory one is. And then here's the uppers. Such a big difference. Not only that, you don't get crappy rubber bushings with this. Like, these were disintegrating. Look at that. But yeah, these just look so much better. More aesthetically pleasing to look at too. Even though you probably won't be able to see these, but because the wheel covers most of that, all the pretty parts are on the bottom of this car. As you can see, this car is not pretty to look at right now. Alright, so now that we're done with this passenger side, time to move to the driver's side and do the whole process over again. I'll just show you guys the before and after. Well, this will be after than before, but passenger side. And then walk over to the driver's side here. And that's what the factory ones look like. Just pure trash, you know. Can't wait to feel the difference in these things. It's supposed to stiffen up the rear end a lot. So I'm pretty excited about that. You only need these, not really flush, but very snug. You don't want to do it too tight though. Just keep in mind this is aluminum, not steel, so better chance of stripping stuff out. Alright, got those pre-greased. Time to get these things off. Just as hard as the last one. Alright, so here's how my day's going. Broke both of my ratchets. So I'm gonna try a bigger one. I don't have a 15mm wrench, so I've been fighting this top bolt here. Well, I guess both of them actually, but these ones are super easy to get out, but these two on the other hand have been a real pain in my butt. So yeah, I don't know. Alright, so I was kind of running out of options here. I'll show you guys what I've been doing here. So these two bolts were being stubborn. So what I did is hooked up a jack to a wrench. And I kept this one to lock that bottom bolt down, and it seems to be doing the trick. Because then just take it, rotate it down again, and then you go at it again. Slowly but surely it's getting easier, so I'm hoping to break it loose so I can use a ratchet. So what a pain in the butt. Alright, we back in business. This was such a pain in the butt to get out. Screw that thing. Now I gotta figure out how to get this one out. It has the same issue, but I cannot use a wrench like I did last time. There's not enough room. So plus I broke all my ratchets, so I don't think I will have any luck. Which sucks because I had plans of redoing my exhaust too and maybe mocking up the flares again. And I did get a new tie rod end kit, outer and inner tie rod. That'll be going on soon as well. But anyway, I guess I can throw on the lower for now. Maybe I'll have to do this another day. Oh, and another thing with greasing these bushings, like the outside of them, I think it'll prevent squeaking, because I know poly bushings squeak a little bit, but you don't want to overload the grease on them though, just enough to like coat it. Yeah, other than that, I'm going to toss this one in and figure out the top one. Maybe I have to do it a different day, we'll see. Alright, let's toss this lower one in. Again, grease fittings go to the bottom, and the Metco here will be upright. There we go. So when you take both of these off, the rear end will actually, there we go. When you take both of these control arms off, the rear end will actually shift backwards a little bit. So when you get one of them in, you just got to try and push it back forward so you can get the bolt in the hole. Time to tighten these back up again. Really wish I had a lift. Alright, I'm having some serious troubles with this top one, so I'm going to go ahead and just torque down these other ones and come back to and do this top one. I might have to cut that bolt off, but I'm going to spray it with some penetrating stuff, see if that helps. But I'm going to torque down these other three and then come back to this one at a later point. But for now, I'm just going to show you guys how to do that. First, I'm going to jack up the rear axle and go ahead and torque all these down under load. And then I can drop the axle back down and throw the wheels on. So, alright. So I have the rear axle jacked up as far as it can go. Oh, I should probably throw this bolt back in here since I'll do that afterward. But yeah, I compressed the springs and brought up the axle as far as it can go. You're supposed to torque these down while the axle's under load. I'm sure it says on the paper why, but I'll be honest, I didn't really read the instructions. I kind of knew what I was doing, so pretty straightforward job overall. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just unbolt 4 bolts per side, swapping in the new ones, then retorquing everything. So yeah, the last step is just making sure you preload the axle before torquing it down. So yeah, it's pretty much it, and I'll go ahead and torque this down, throw the wheels back on, be good to go. So alright, so we got this side torqued down. Alright, now it's time to do this side. Alright, so that'll basically complete the install of the Metco Motorsports upper and lower rear control arms. And now I just gotta go test them out. I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, I didn't get that driver's side upper in because of that bolt, so I might just cut it off like I said. Then I won't make a separate video on it. Yeah, here we go. Shiny new parts. Everything's torqued down. I should really get some new brakes or some new rotors, but because like I said, I do have new stuff coming for the front. Speaking of which, they may have been delivered already, so we'll see about that. But I'm gonna throw a little montage together, complete this. Hope you guys learned something. I know I'm not super thorough, but hopefully thorough enough where you guys learned something about the install. And I'll catch you guys later.